Hello. Hey. Two. I said I need more mics. 1, 2, 3, 4. This one's not good enough for a start. One colour. Hallelujah. That's lovely.
Hey, welcome back to the Packy Run podcast. It's the show with hot topics and even hotter hosts. I'm one of those hosts, AJ Lagambina.
I hate that so much.
Screw with my intro, I'll screw with yours.
I am your grumpier co-host, Debatable?
Yeah.
That's debatable.
Yeah.
Dan Mayotte.
That depends on the day,
I think before we get into our fun and goofs and gaffs and other fun stuff, one of our friends recently became very ill, and her name is Jordan. Jordan, hope you're doing very well if you're listening to this ever. And there's a GoFundMe for her, so please donate. We're going to have links to that in all our social media, so definitely donate to that. Any amount will help towards her medical expenses or living expenses moving forward.
Yeah, at this point with the way that the world is, being in your 20s and going through the kind of medical emergency that she's been going through, like, that's just rough. That's gonna put a wrench in the gears for a little while, I think. So anything that anybody can do to help her out would be super appreciated.
And we'll remind you at the very end to donate again, because we want you to. So donate. You probably have an extra bucks.
You don't need your money.
Yeah.
None of you need your money.
Dude, but
Jordan
money?
Needs your money.
Yeah.
Oh man, there's an entire podcast episode right there.
What is money?
What is money? Let's get some experts up on the Packy Run.
Yeah, we would need Josh.
That would be a fantastic episode of Shot Ones. Get a financial expert onto the podcast and just ask them harder and harder questions about currency as they get progressively more intoxicated.
Well, let's ask him. Let's ask the financial advisor, not a him, but just in general. Financial advisor can be anyone. Why I lost $100 this week in the stock market?
Because game stonks. That's why, Dan.
Also, when am I going to lose my $20 from Dogecoin?
When are you going to lose that? I'm surprised you haven't already.
I mean, one of my coworkers was like, he was telling me how he's sold out of it. And I was like, I don't know. Like, I'm usually, I've only been investing for a couple months now, so I can't really say anything. But my plan is to be a long-term holder.
I feel like I'm progressively more and more interested in all that stuff, but nobody's actually been able to explain to me what is Bitcoin? What is Dogecoin?
I know Dogecoin is just kind of a meme.
But Bitcoin feels that way too. I know that apparently you can mine it, which is a thing.
Right.
Which I guess is just somebody tried to explain it to me once. I guess it's just when you're mining it, you're setting aside processing power in a computer to break an algorithm or something, but I don't understand how that turns into money. I'd love to know, because if I knew what it was, I'd feel more comfortable investing in it. And I like a lot of the talking points about crypto. I just don't get what it is.
I don't get what it is either, but I find it fascinating. For example, just recently, an offensive lineman, Russell Okung, he retired, and I think it was the Carolina Panthers owed him money. They were and I think he might have deferred it, but he deferred it to get paid in Bitcoin, and now he's getting an extra $18 million on top of whatever he was owed.
That's
insane.
It is. It's crazy. I wish, like I said, if at any point it becomes more tangible to me, then I won't go all in, because for one, I am not a man of means. And for two, going all in on anything just, well, anything like financial like that or whatever seems like too big of a risk to take. You got to be measured in it or whatever. But
That
yeah,
is-
if
that
anybody,
is true.
any of our many listeners to the podcast, please come on and explain to me and Dan in like actual human terms what the hell cryptocurrency is. Sell me on it. That's your challenge.
That is true. I mean, if I lose my $20 in Dogecoin, I lose my $20. So that's how I look at it.
Or Elon Musk can tweet about it again and you can magically turn that $20 into like a couple grand.
I mean, that's the dream, but it's a far stretch. We're kind of already going off the rails here.
We're killing time. We've got a plan for the season. I can speak. This evening's podcast recording.
Yeah.
But sometimes you got to pad it out. You got to give the listeners what they want, which is
There's a
you and
little
I talking about cryptocurrency.
There's a little bit of Patriots news that I heard about, but not much. Like we'll get
you
into
can
that.
drop it like it's hot. But first,
What are we drinking this evening?
Exactly. This evening. That just completely blew my mic up. That was great. That's gonna sound awesome when I try to compress it. I've got the Stone Cold Classic. I've got the only cheap beer that matters. The original Pabst Blue Ribbon. Was it ever actually just called Pabst, or did the Blue Ribbon come after?
I think it was always named Pabst Blue Ribbon.
That seems a bit presumptuous. They just gave themselves the ribbon.
Oh, you know what? I think I remember seeing something like a random like history show I was watching, and they won it at like I think it was I don't know the year, but like I think it was like turn of the century World's Fair. They had like a beer competition and they won like the Blue Ribbon. Like they were actually like the winner of it for like best beer.
That's hilarious because in no world is this the best beer.
No.
Even after the intro that I just gave it.
But yeah, I think that's like the backstory of it, like why it has its name.
It's smooth, it's easy to drink. It comes in a can, so it's got that little bit of a zing, a little bit of sweetness from the aluminum, which I'm sure is probably not good for you, but
have you ever had
in
the
long
glass
run, there is
bottle
beer.
versions?
I have. It's not the same.
No, it's not the same. It's like how, like I was drinking and also cooking with a Boston Lager, like this weekend, and you have to get it from like the glass bottles. You can't get it in the can.
Yeah, exactly. There's certain beers that just require it, and this is not one of those. You
Right.
have to this one it's required that you're in the aluminum can.
I also will only drink Coors Banquet in the little stubbies.
Yep.
Not in the
That's the
can.
best.
No.
That is the superior way to drink Coors. Even though I'm not really big on Coors Banquet, not my favorite.
I mean, it's better than like Coors Light, but that's not saying much.
Anything's better than Coors Light, though.
I am drinking a red wine. I don't know what it is. My girlfriend picked it up, Justine. $12 bottle. I had to open it. She buys it. I have to open it. That's how it works.
Sounds like a functioning relationship. That's good.
What?
Or functional. It sounds like a functional relationship, rather.
Yeah, I mean, like, that's what it is.
She buys it, I open it.
Yep. Just like
That's time to be alive.
I buy the food and I also eat the food.
That's been your Instagram for months at this point. I feel like every time I turn around, you're posting pictures of whatever concoctions you're making.
That is true. I'm very proud of my last one, which was I took my Chipotle leftovers and I had a bunch of cheese in my refrigerator, and I made some beer cheese and like threw that on top of my leftover Chipotle and like the chips. What?
Having lived with you, I'm real glad I wasn't in the room for the aftermath of that.
It wasn't that bad.
Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong.
I mean, I felt really bad eating them all in one sitting.
That's real. A couple of days ago, I made a frozen pizza, and the worst part is that I did this in the middle of the day. It was in the middle of a work day.
Yeah, you can't
do that. I
do
made a
that.
frozen pizza for lunch,
You
and I
can't
ate
do
the
that.
entire thing. I just cut it into 4 giant slices and ate the entire thing. And by about an hour into my shift after lunch, I was full of hatred.
It's just like a frozen pizza after eating the whole thing is like cement in your stomach.
I was just about to say, like, they might as well have just backed the truck up and like poured the cement straight in.
I just imagine you going.
For those who can't see, Dan is gesticulating wildly, and he's not wrong. I should have folded the thing in half and made a calzone out of it.
True.
That would have made the entire process much quicker, and I feel like it would have eliminated at least some of the shame.
But would you still hate yourself?
I think I would hate myself after the fact, yes. But part of the hatred that I felt when I ate that entire pizza was the fact that it took me the entire hour. Like, I preheated the oven, I put it in between like calls and stuff, and then it was ready to go by the time I clocked out for lunch. And then over the course of the hour-long break, I just steadily made my way through the entire thing.
Okay.
So I feel like if I had folded it in half and eaten it calzone style in just one go, at least I wouldn't have been sitting there over the course of an hour being like, should I? Yeah, I'll go ahead.
Yeah.
Should
Oh
I?
my god. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
I'll go
We shouldn't. Oh, we shouldn't.
Oh no. Should we be bad? Should we order fries for the table?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Let's order fries.
That was my internal monologue, except it was, should I eat another slice of pizza? Should I be bad? I've been walking all week. It'll be fine.
Yeah. You'll walk off all those calories. All those calories.
I feel like I have. I've been eating pretty well, and I've been walking every day for like a week and a half now. So my legs hate me, and I just got my first blister today. Not my first ever, but
Congrats.
oh yeah, it's real great. I'm turning into a true athlete.
True.
Has there ever been a more like COVID centric part of this podcast?
Yeah, I could
I've been walking a lot.
Yeah, I could be an athlete. You know what?
I could be an athlete. I've been walking every day for a week, and I ate an entire frozen pizza.
You're like the dude who watches football, looks at the kicker making like a 20-yard field goal, and you're like, yeah, I can fucking do that. I can do that shit.
Nope. No, I can't.
There's actually a really good video of there's like a sports commentator, or like she works for ESPN, Katie Nolan, and
Yeah.
she took people like who tweeted like, oh, I could make that kick, and flew them in, told them to try to make this kick, and they were like, yeah, like I could totally do that. They were all terrible.
That's my favorite thing.
It was so funny.
Somebody getting their comeuppance, even if that somebody is me. That is my favorite thing.
All right.
I mean, we already started talking about ESPN, so let's drop some what we have for Patriots news, I guess.
All right. So apparently Bill has called and has called everyone with an available quarterback so far. Now, that definitely means Deshaun Watson and probably Russell Wilson. And from what reports are coming out now, the Seahawks might be very interested in moving Russell Wilson. They are actually entertaining that offer. But to start off with, it would be 3 first-round draft picks.
Which is funny because the last time we talked about that possibility, it seemed like such a pipe dream, and now like just consistently it seems more and more likely that Russell Wilson is not going to be playing for the Seahawks. And if he ends up on the New England Patriots, that doesn't really solve all of our problems, but that would be a huge move, and I would love every minute of that.
I mean, I'd love it as like a fan standpoint, but why would Russell Wilson want to go to the Patriots?
Well, and therein lies the question for literally every free agent kind of thing with the Patriots right now.
Right.
Like, well, it would be great if we could get this person or that person. If Deshaun Watson ended up on the Patriots, or Russell Wilson, or even the Jimmy Garoppolo thing is like, I don't know.
Right. I mean,
we don't have anything to entice them to come here.
Yeah, I mean, Russell Wilson did express how he wanted an offensive line. He wanted something better to protect him because he's been the most sacked quarterback in the league for the better part of a decade now. or at least one of them. We do have a strong offensive line, but who is he going to throw to? What kind of weapons is he going to have available to him?
That's true, but the one thing that makes sense about like it still strikes me as very like pie in the sky. I don't think it's going to happen.
No, I don't
But
think
if
so
Russell-
either.
If the Patriots are going to be as aggressive as they say they're going to be, and they went after Russell Wilson, one of the things that Russ has said in the media lately is he wants a say in, you know, play calling and staffing and things like that.
Right.
And what like that could be the in. Like, why would you not want to play for Bill Belichick after playing for Pete Carroll and basically just getting used by that dude? Like, why would you not want to come play for Bill Belichick and have a say in what receivers the Patriots go and try and put around you, while also knowing that, you know, the defense is more or less going to be taken care of.
Right.
And your offensive line is already pretty stacked and could actually end up getting marginally better. Like that sounds like a pretty good sales pitch to me. The issue is, how do you make a deal on that?
Right. And like, would we be willing to give up draft capital for that?
Yeah. Which I'm not sure we wouldn't want to. It's just I don't see 3 first round picks happening.
I mean, we would need to get another pick from somewhere. Now, the question is,
Yeah.
we would have to probably trade a player for that pick. Is Stephon Gilmore worth a first round pick? I don't think so.
I think Gilmore might be, as far as this offseason is concerned right now, I think he might be a little bit undervalued for the same reason that I think the Patriots as a whole are kind of undervalued right now, is that like this past season is not really much to go on.
Right.
Like we had, between opt-outs and COVID diagnosis and everything else, like there were just everything that could have gone wrong for the Patriots went wrong over the course of last offseason into the regular season. So I think that a lot of, like, the Patriots definitely have issues, and they definitely, like, there are some glaring ones that they need to figure out, you know, receiving being probably the top, with quarterback either tied or just behind that. But the players themselves, I feel like almost all of them, with the exception of maybe N'Keal Harry, are all being undervalued right now just because of, you know, factors that were totally not in this team's control.
Right. But I think, like, Russell Wilson, I think, would be the top prize for the Patriots. I would say there's no shot to getting Deshaun Watson.
Well, especially,
like, why would the Texans trade Deshaun Watson in the same conference? That makes no sense.
and especially considering the fact that, you know, they're already playing hardball. You know, there's talk about Russell Wilson going somewhere, right? But like everybody, when those talks come up, everybody's kind of on the same page that like, yeah, that could totally happen. And everybody seems to understand that, yeah, you know, I could see Seattle trying to make a deal there, as opposed to everything coming out of the Texans camp has been like, Deshaun's not going anywhere. Deshaun wants out, but the Texans have been, you know, everybody that's, you know, league sources or close to the Texans and everything else are saying that, you know, they're kind of stonewalling that idea. So, you know, if I had to make a prediction right now, I would say Deshaun Watson's not going anywhere, but I would be pretty shocked if Russell Wilson didn't end up making a move.
Right. Now, since we last did this podcast, Carson Wentz was moved, and Patriots didn't even call about him. Made no call. And I mean, that checks out, and that makes sense.
Yep.
Carson Wentz, there's been reports of him being a bad locker room guy. He's not a hard worker. He's also not the easiest person to get along with.
Exactly.
And he had a bad year last year, but
let him go.
I will say this. If anyone could fix him, I think the Colts made a really good deal to get him.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that.
Like only giving up a second rounder? No, a third rounder this year, and a potential first rounder next year. But right as it sits, like a second rounder, that's not bad.
I believe so. Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I mean, I'll take it.
Not my problem.
Yep. Philadelphia's just imploding right now.
Yeah, they're rebuilding.
Same with the Steelers, are not too far behind them with that.
Well, there's like talks that they might be trying to get rid of Big Ben.
They probably should. What has he done?
I mean, he's won 2 Super Bowls in the past, but I mean, he is old, and they were saying he needs to take a pay cut. Like he has like a $40 million cap hit this year. Something crazy. Like Juju Smith-Schuster is walking out the door, which I mean, it's kind of excess goods for the Steelers. They don't really need him per se.
Yeah.
And I mean, Juju seems to worry more about his social media career than football career.
TikTok dances in the middle of the field, or that, something about the logic of doing that doesn't check out for me.
I mean,
I don't know what it is.
I mean, it's disrespectful first, and then like him saying before like the Steelers Browns playoff game, the Browns is the Browns. Like,
yeah,
that's
not
a good look. I don't see the Patriots turning for him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the carousel keeps going around.
Oh yeah. Cam got called out by a high schooler.
Yeah, that was the weirdest little like non-story that I've seen
like
in a minute.
You have a former MVP. He's been to the Super Bowl, and you're just talking trash to him
at his own camp.
Yeah, like you paid to be there, presumably. Like that I don't get that. I don't understand. Like, yeah, Cam was bad last year. He had his moments of being good, but like for the most part, not very good. You still have to respect him and everything that he's done in the previously.
Especially in his own house.
Right, exactly.
Metaphorically speaking.
Actually, there was another time a kid heckled him, and he said, hey, have you wished Von Miller Happy Father's Day yet? If you're going to heckle someone, do something like that. That's at least funny. That's creative.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Like disrespectful, but that's still so funny.
Oh man!
All right,
trash talking is awesome. One of my favorite pastimes is looking up mic'd up moments and stuff, and finding the NHL. The NHL just has so many great ones.
True.
Something about Canadians. It's all sorry until you get on the ice.
Oh, sorry.
And then you go get some Timbits.
And some Molson.
Yeah. Get a Molson and a box of Timbits and get on your way, your hoser.
Yeah. All right. We are, we're into the show. And we're going to talk about music since there's not a lot of other sport-related topics to talk about. Well, that we're interested in at this very moment.
Exactly.
So we're gonna talk about an album, a band that means a lot to us. That actually, it turns 10 years old in July, but I wanted to talk about it earlier in this year because I just bought it on vinyl for the first time today, or not today, but a few days ago. Which is weird because this has always been one of my favorite records. I'm surprised I haven't bought it sooner, but I think I always was like, oh well, I can always grab it. It's always available.
That's true. It is one of the like defining records of this era of kind of alternative music, which is really the follow-up to this one I would say is more defining, but this one is this is the one where this was like part of a movement. So the album is called I Wish I Could Stay Here. It's by the UK band called Basement, and this was one of the albums that came out during like the wave and like right in the middle of the emo revival. So when
I wouldn't classify them as emo revival though, that's the thing.
This definitely gets lumped in with that like era though.
I mean,
it's definitely not part of the emo revival, I wouldn't say, but it's constantly lumped in with all of those kind of bands. And I mean, that's partly because all of the bands that were part of the emo revival like inevitably ended up touring together and
that is true,
doing different things.
Like if I could describe a genre for this, I would put it as Tumblr pop punk.
Kind of. This is like,
because this was huge on Tumblr back in like the day, back in those early 2010s.
Yeah, and it was one of those weird albums where I never really liked calling it pop punk, like the same way that I've never really liked the idea of calling Joyce Manor pop punk.
I was having this discussion with Justine earlier, and like could you call Joyce Manor, I'm just because you brought up Joyce Manor, pop punk in the traditional sense compared to like the Ramones and the Queers and Screech and Weasel and the Descendants? Yeah, absolutely. But
Yeah, but all of those bands I would probably just call punk.
I mean, yeah. But like,
And especially Joyce Manor's earlier work where it was like
they're just a punk band.
very similar to I Wish I Could Stay Here, especially from like a production side. It was all about like the graininess and the grittiness, and it was, I mean, it's definitely like engineered to sound that way, but there's like there is an authenticity to what they're doing here and the way that it's recorded that I think the band themselves and also like the entire kind of scene that they were a part of like really kind of moved away from. In some ways that like definitively made them better bands. And
well, I think now
but
yeah, what were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say it's like they definitely went glossier as they went on with a lot of their production and stuff like that, and I wouldn't have wanted them to just stay in this sound the entire time. But there is like, it's like this album To the Beat of a Dead Horse by Touche Amore, Last Thing You Forget by Title Fight, Shed by Title Fight, that first Tiger's Jaw album,
Right.
you know, so many of those albums, they don't all sound the same, but they're all kind of coming at the same sound from different directions, I guess.
Right. Like it's all punk, and Basement, man, like they're not pop punk. I wouldn't classify it as pop punk. They just kind of got lumped into it, just like how Title Fight got lumped into it. Like, you know, I don't know.
And Title Fight's gonna get brought up a lot during this conversation.
Oh yeah, they are. So this came out July 5th, and I mean, it had some fantastic reviews to start off the bat with. Absolute Punk gave it an 82%. Alter the Press was 5 out of 5. Dead Press was looks like it's 8 stars out of 10, and then Kill Your Stereo was 96 out of 100. Not a lot of background on this record. It was their second release. They did come up with an EP earlier, I think the year prior, which you hear bits and you hear pieces from like the EP in this record, but you also hear like progression as well, like different sounds.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to talk about this album because it's so like reminiscent of a very certain time in my life. Like Basement was like the band. I mean, it was one of the first shows that you and I went to.
Yeah.
I think the second show that you and I went to before we moved in together.
Right.
In college. And
it was
before that they were still like,
they were small. I mean, their last show was in Pennsylvania. And the crazy thing about that is I remember my friend Paul, we were like talking outside his house, and he was like, I was like not really that into Basement yet, but he was like, yo, Basement's breaking up and their last show is in Pennsylvania. You want to drive down with me and see it? And I was like, I don't know, man. Like, I mean,
yeah, and you regret that.
I mean, I'm happy that like one of my favorite memories as a live music fan was seeing them on their reunion, and just like the anticipation of like, you know, it's so shocking how quick those tickets sold out like that.
Yeah,
I remember that, and I was able to get them, and like I was like, yes. First time I ever was on Ticketmaster, and like I was just hitting the refresh page over and over again just to get these tickets.
Yeah, I got my tickets for free, weirdly enough. So I waited until like the last second to start trying to get tickets. We went to go see it was Basement, Super Heaven, Pity Sex, and who else? Ovlov?
Yeah.
Yeah. I waited until like the last possible second to try and get tickets, and I posted on the show's Facebook page, like the event page, and somebody reached out to me and said that they had 2 tickets, and they had bought the tickets when they were released, but then they moved to Georgia or something.
Mm-hmm.
I think
whatever.
Monica Misiak. They ever listened to this? Thank you again, because that's a night that I'm gonna remember for forever. But yeah. they ended up not being able to use the tickets, so they literally mailed me 2 physical tickets that I still have.
That's amazing.
And yeah, ended up going to the show for free and got the tickets like a week before the show that had been sold out since tickets went on sale.
Wow. We'll get into the record and like track by track in a bit, but if someone were to ask me who my favorite band is, I'd say Basement. Heartbeat, hands down, like end of discussion for me at least. I don't know about you.
I'd say that checks out. I wouldn't say that they're my favorite band, but they're definitely this record and the next one, Color Me in Kindness, for sure would be in my top 15 or 20 albums of all time.
Yeah,
I mean,
for sure.
This is just like I think the coolest thing. One of the coolest things about this record, and like I said, this is going to be one of the many times that I'll bring up Title Fight here. There's a thing that happens for me when I fall down like the rabbit hole of listening to a new artist, where you hear something, you hear an album or you hear a song,
right,
and you play it over and over again, and then inevitably you're sitting back and you're like, I want more of this. And that's that feeling is part of the reason why people get so mad when bands change. But that's why it's so important to have like other bands that come up underneath that. So for me in high school, Shed by Title Fight was like a revelation. I was never really into like a lot of the like Youth Crew or like traditional kind of hardcore things.
Yeah.
So I didn't have much like context for what Title Fight was doing, but when I heard it, I was like, oh my God, like I can't believe it's definitively kind of aggressive music, but it's so melodic and it's layered in these really cool ways. And I just wanted more of that. And, you know, you can only listen to an album on repeat so many times before you sit back and you're like, okay, well, I need something new.
Right.
And that's why like forever in my mind, Shed by Title Fight and I Wish I Could Stay Here by Basement are just like right next to each other. I can't think about one without thinking about the other.
For me,
because
this
is such a great companion piece for that.
I mean, I would say, I guess more for Color Me in Kindness. Like, I'm just going to talk about that for 1 second. When I think Color Me in Kindness, I can't think of that one without Jar by Super Heaven. Like, those are like lumped together, like that kind of same thing.
And I can't listen to those 2 albums are also like just absolutely super linked together for me. And I can't think about those 2 albums without just like reliving freshman year of college, because that was literally from day one of college. Not even from day one, from day -1, because the day we went to that show that we were just talking about was the day before we moved into college for our freshman year.
Yes.
So we went to the same show. We got to see Basement on their reunion tour at the Sinclair in Boston, which is one of the great venues in the world. Just awesome, awesome, awesome night. We lost each other in the crowd. We didn't end up catching up with each other because me and my friend Zach had to like run across Harvard. We had to run across Harvard to get onto the last red line train that would take us back down to the South Shore.
Right. Oh, this is a good story right here.
We show up. I'm 90% sure we've talked about this on the podcast before, but who cares? We show up. I'm the first one at the room, University of New Haven, picked out my side, started putting together my side of the room and everything, getting acquainted with my new living space. And Dan Mayotte walks in wearing the exact same gray with purple print Super Heaven t-shirt that we had both bought at the same show the night before.
And I think I said something along the lines of, "You got to be kidding me!" And at first, you were like, you looked at me like, "Oh, did I do something wrong? Holy shit! Like, what's up, dude?"
Yeah, I remember that feeling so well because you noticed before I did, and I was looking at you because that's what you said. You were like, "Are you kidding me?" And I was like, "What? Did you want the window side of the room? Because I'll fucking fight you for it." But no, we were just wearing the same t-shirt. And then I forget, I think one of us changed because we were like, there's no way that we can go this entire fucking day.
It was literally the Spider-Man meme, just like them pointing at each other.
Yeah, pointing at each other.
That was us in IRL.
You?
All right, let's get into the meat and potatoes of it all. So
I'm ready.
We start off with Fading, which... the very opening little clip, like they sampled a movie and it was actually A Fair to Remember, movie from 1957. Fun fact.
Which I did not know. I did not know until I took a film class in college where we watched An Affair to Remember. And I remember that scene, and I was sitting back and I was like, where the hell do I know this from?
You're like, "Da-na-na-na-na-na."
It's just fading. It's just stuck in my head for the rest of the night.
Yeah, this is a great opener. Kind of kicks it off with a bang. It really sets the tone for this record and what is to come later on.
And it's just that, like I kind of alluded to earlier, it's got that nice grittiness to it in the quality of the recording. It's very intentionally not super polished. There's a lot of kind of, I guess you could call it, bleed between the instruments. Some of them are sitting on top of each other, which is a common theme throughout the entire album.
Right, but it doesn't bother me though.
Yeah, it's not an issue at all. It's very intentional the way that they did that, and it's part of the reason why I like it so much, because it just has that there's this thing with this album where and I'm sure we'll get into some of my criticisms about some of the lyrical side of things, where it's not very it's not super, I guess, highbrow. I wouldn't call it lyricism, but it's it's effective. It's very just to the point, and I'm sad. I will write a song about it. I feel sick. So empty. So ordinary.
Yeah.
And that's really easy to just kind of roll your eyes at. But the way that it's actually executed really it just does such a great job of being a bare bones, hey, we're a rock band.
I mean, you could tell they came from the UK hardcore scene. They all came from hardcore, and a lot of their songs are structured like hardcore songs. And I'd say the thing I like about this album the most, and I didn't realize this until I was listening to it today and going through everything, they don't say much, but it gets the point across. Less is always more for them. It's effective.
This, and speaking again about a lot of those emo revival bands and stuff, I am head over heels in love with this album for the same reason that I'm head over heels in love with the past two Pianos Become the Teeth albums.
Yeah.
Where I would say lyrically those are better albums, but both bands do a really, really good job of letting the instrumental itself tell the story more than the vocals.
Absolutely.
Again, a lyric like "Rain falls hard, washes me away, I feel sick." You read it out loud or you look at it on a screen and you're that sounds like some high school poetry. And then you actually listen to you just listen to the guitars and you're oh, okay.
Right.
This song is emoting much harder than the lyrics let on.
In contrast, for example, and I'm probably going to use this term a lot, word salad. They don't mix up with the word salad, unlike a band like the Hotelier. Hotelier has these long, intricate, descriptive words and long words, and love to put as much detail as possible in, where this band is about the riffs. Less is more.
Yeah. And they actually kind of take... there's something about a lot of the structure of the vocal delivery that reminds me a lot of late stage Green Day. It's very much find the melody that works the best for Andrew Fisher's voice, find a way to repeat that melody, get it so that these little parts can be kind of stuck in your head and can be sung along to.
Right.
There's so much about this album where it's just oh yeah, this band just wanted to play live.
I'm pretty sure
real bad.
I'm pretty sure Alex Henry sings the chorus in this song.
I think so. He does a lot of singing on this one.
Yeah, he doesn't do a lot after this one, but he sings a lot of the choruses and that kind of thing. I mean, it's distorted, but it's not, and it's definitely not polished. But that's kind of the charm of it. It's that aggressive, just alternative rock music.
Exactly.
Next one, Plan to Be Surprised, which I love when there's a smooth transition from one song to the next one. I think that's fantastic.
Yep. Those fades are awesome.
It's another very short one, and it kind of shows what they did previously on their first EP. If you have ever listened to that one, which it's floating around on the internet somewhere, you could probably get it off of Sophie's Floorboard or whatever.
I'm 90% sure it's on Sophie's Floorboard. It used to be on Bandcamp. I'm not sure if it still is.
Yeah.
And that's one of my holy grails of vinyl collecting, but it's always so expensive. They haven't repressed it in years.
Really? You have that on vinyl?
No, I don't.
Oh.
I wish I did.
Okay.
I have alerts set up on Discogs for it, and I get alerts for it pretty frequently, but it's always like I wouldn't pay anything more than like $50 for it, just out of like, if I'm paying more than $50 for any piece of vinyl, it damn well better be in a hardcover book, which we'll get to with my that with my recommendation. But
True.
Yeah, I think it's Summer Songs is the EP.
I think that's what it's called.
Yeah. If anybody's got any leads on that, I'll take it. I've already got a first press of I Wish I Could Stay Here, though. So I'm good, guys. Thanks.
I have probably a 20th press at this point because they just kept printing them, because this is a record that will
God bless Run for Cover.
This is a record that will never, ever be out of stock. It will always sell no matter what. It's one of the staples of Run for Cover.
Basement, the two Basement LPs that came out on Run for Cover are like, it kind of reminds me of the Balance and Composure LPs that came out on No Sleep. Like, that's definitely a contributing factor to the reason why those labels are still businesses. Like, they couldn't afford to make that out of press.
I mean, there's definitely more releases on No Sleep that keep them in business, and as well as Run for Cover. But
there's definitely more. It's not like definitively the only thing, but you know for a fact that like Run for Cover isn't going to let Basement go out of press.
Oh no. It's very interesting in a strong structure. I mean, it's another very short song, and it's only 3 stanzas worth of like lyrics.
I love the little turn of phrase in the second stanza. All the lights are out in your house. You're nowhere to be found. I know you're scared, but I'm still here. Well, I'm coming around.
Yeah.
I love just like the reading of that, where it could so easily be interpreted as just like, yeah, I just told you a white lie. I'm still here. Well, I'm coming around.
I love, one of the highlights of this whole record is like that one or like couple seconds of like silence where it's only the what's the symbol? You hear it in the background, but like it's mostly silent.
Yeah, that little like sizzle.
Yeah, that little sizzle. It's one of those things where he said all these lyrics, he said what he had to say, and to me that really shows emotion. Like beforehand, he's like, all the lights are out in your house, like that kind of thing. And it's like, okay, like I'm scared, like I'm kind of alone and like I'm nothing and everything like that. And you kind of feel that emptiness with Andrew Fisher, for example, in those couple seconds of silence. And I think it's a really good tool that should be used more in music.
It's also, well, I'll get to that because there's better examples of what I was about to say.
Okay.
So can move on to Canada Square.
Yeah, which this is my favorite track off this record.
The intro is, man, just again, speaking about how this album is just like, it's all about just like emoting, and it would be really easy to just like write off. I mean, you could definitely, now that I think about it, you could definitely call this album emo in a more traditional sense. Like, this is emotive, like not emotive hardcore,
right? But
it's like emotive rock influenced by like UK hardcore.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, you can definitely hear that. It's the longest track on the record. I think the panning is one of the highlights. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, the back and forth.
I love it when bands do that. I think that's fantastic, and like it's we heard 2 aggressive songs.
It's not the bands that do that. That's the engineers and the producers.
Okay, but like
the mix engineers, okay?
But like they still do that live. They still have to like accomplish that playing live. You know what I mean?
Which they actually do a pretty decent job of that. That's another thing about this band. That's like one of the reasons why I think both of us hold them in such high regard. Like when they play these songs live, they do a really good job of like incorporating things like that into their set, like running stereo rigs on their guitars so you can get some of that kind of going. That's just more of the nerdy kind of production side of things that I love.
Yeah. And I love the lyrics like, so pack up and leave this place behind. all your eyes are so much brighter now, and I'm too scared to look at you. In a room full of people, I've never felt so alone. I think we've all felt that kind of emotion, even like when we're at like a party, for example. Like you're just kind of sitting on the couch looking at this room full of people, and you're just like, yeah, still alone, still kind of sucks.
Yeah, and it's so that lyric in particular, in a room so full of people, I've never felt so alone. Like, it's easy to roll your eyes at that kind of thing. It's easy to take that kind of heart on your sleeve kind of deal and just kind of be like, okay, buddy, because one, we've been like trained to do that by the internet, so it would be kind of easy to write off that kind of like heart on your sleeve emotion as just like, oh, that's melodrama and stuff like that, but the delivery is so nice. Meanwhile, Dan and I continue to have connectivity issues, so I'm just vamping at this point.
Okay.
I can hear you though, so that's nice.
I can hear you too.
We're leaving this part in.
Oh shit! I have to put my headphones back on.
We can't. I can't tell
Okay.
if it's because you and I talk too much,
All right.
or if it's because our technology is actively working against us.
Yes. Anyways, what were you saying?
Yeah, it's just it's easy to write off. It's easy to write off a lot of these kind of like, you could call them like simple lyrics or melodramatic lyrics or whatever. But especially on this album, Andrew Fisher does a really, really good job of emoting in a way that I actually think he kind of loses the further into Basement's discography you get. But, and this was the point that I was going to make way earlier.
Okay.
There's actually a trade-off there. So this album is full of kind of simpler lyrics and more straight to the point lyrics, and the delivery is pretty rough. And then later in Basement's career, I would argue on most of Color Me in Kindness and on all of the rest of Basement's output since then, Andrew becomes technically a much better singer.
He does. I would agree with that.
And he gets a little bit more poetic with the lyrical side of things, but he doesn't have as much emotion in later albums. Like this one, it's all about like the actual delivery of the thing, like the emoting that he's doing while he's singing, as opposed to on Color Me in Kindness and the Summer EP. Oh God, the Further Sky EP. We named a fucking record label
Yeah,
after that
come
EP.
on.
How could I forget that?
Come on, dude.
Wow.
Fake fan over here.
I'm falling apart at the seams. It's fine. Yeah. So there's that like trade-off. But I wouldn't call this one my favorite song on the album, but this is definitely up there.
I love the crunchy guitars.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, that tone is so good. I love that bridge with the distortion. I think it's a great fit. And this has never been like a solo. They've never been the band that like rips a solo, and you know it works. They don't. It's not.
It does.
Yeah, like they don't. They're not the band that strikes me as a just rip a solo like out of nowhere type of band. Never will be. That's not their strength.
No.
Like they know it.
Not at
Even
all.
at this point in their career, which this is their first full length album, they knew what their strengths were, and they were like, "We're not gonna." I mean, since then they have done like the little solos here and there and more breakdowns, but like we know what we're good at. Let's stick to that.
From there.
Well, and I just wanted one more thing. I also love the softness at the end of like this song as well. They do a really good job of that throughout, adding those like kind of soft layers here and there that really build like that kind of sad emotion.
True.
Cricket throw their voice.
Tied for my favorite song on this album.
I mean, it's a good one. It's one of the songs that whenever they do an encore, it's up there.
It's in there. Yep.
That's always going to be a staple of their encore. It's the hit of the
This
record for
is-
sure.
And it's a perfect example of how to do angry white boy energy without being angry white boy stereotype.
I mean, they do that a lot in this record. Like they do a really
Oh, absolutely.
They do a really good job of, yeah, they're sad, yeah, they're mad like a girl broke up with them, but it's not Taken Back Sunday cringe.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a needle. It's like if you were on the receiving end of this, if you knew that you had wronged Andrew Fisher, if you knew you had wronged him and you read this, like I think it would get the point across, but it's not, the closest it gets to being like true cringe is just I am drowning and you're keeping me under. And like
I don't even think that's bad.
That's just an evaluation of like a situation. That's not, that's not the truth is you could slit my throat, like Taking Back Sunday level of like, oh no.
Yeah.
Oh, you have so much to learn, young grasshopper.
Like, and this is like the first like traditional rock song like structure, I would say. Like, I mean, you got a verse, you got the chorus,
big old chorus,
and then you got the chorus. And it's easy. The melody is very easy to get into your head. Like breathing, it's not easy when you're underwater. I am drowning. And you're keeping me under. Like, that is, like, I don't even have to listen to it. And I know, like, how it has to go. It is very easy to follow. It is, like, a good song to just sing along and, like, have the crowd sing back at you. And have kids, like, crowd surfing and, like, stage diving, too.
Dan, do you know what synesthesia is?
What is that?
So it's a thing where I'm going to totally butcher this because I have no medical experience at all. But the way that I understand it, it's basically when you get like sensory input from something. Okay. So you see something or you smell something or you hear something, but it triggers another sense.
Uh-huh.
So if you hear a song, so I get this a lot. Like there's certain songs, there's a girl I used to see that wore this ridiculous like Britney Spears perfume or whatever.
Okay.
And there's a couple of songs that she and I would like go to like a high school dance or something. And there's a couple of songs that I hear and immediately I can smell that perfume.
Okay.
Right? This song immediately results in the album art for me. Like there is a synesthesia kind of reaction when I hear this song or I see the artwork. Like this is the thing that I can like perfectly in my mind's ear. I have the banner. I have like a banner flag version of the album artwork hanging in my room right now. This song is stuck in my head like 10 times a week.
I mean, and they literally say the name of the album in this song.
And that's the thing is that like it's perfect placement because everything about the album artwork makes sense for this song. And I have absolutely no idea why, but like the color scheme, the actual image, like everything about it totally checks out for me.
Well, like let's talk about the album art for 1 second. Like, normally with a band, you have somewhere on the album artwork the name of the record or the name of the band, whose it is. Like, I'm holding it up right now.
Yeah.
And this literally is art to me. This looks like something I would hang up on my wall and in my like living room and just look at this all day. And like, I remember looking at this album on the bus ride home and I didn't realize how much detail and other things I noticed from it.
It's basically an overlay of like 2 or 3 different pictures. For those of you at home, you should check our Instagram. You'll be able to see it, or you can just look it up on Google like a human being. It's somebody just leaning up against like the edge of what looks like a reservoir, I guess.
Yeah.
You know how they have those like concrete walls, like a dam or something? They're just leaning up against it, wearing like one of those Herschel backpacks, like the leather straps and everything. But superimposed over that is like a bend in a highway through like a Midwestern, like what I imagine Oklahoma looks like, or like the weird parts of Virginia that you have to drive through to get to anything that's worthwhile in that state. Sorry, guys, I said it.
Sorry, guys.
I have strong opinions about anywhere that's in the continental United States. Moving on. It's superimposed and it's photoshopped in a way that like you can clearly tell what the main image is of this person just like leaning against a concrete wall basically. But then the harder you look, the more you realize that like, oh, the backpack is a highway and there's like sound barriers from a highway that are kind of taking up what would be the concrete wall, and then off in the background you've got like these big old pine trees, and it looks like a very classic kind of like English countryside at the edge of this reservoir. Like there's a lot going on.
Yeah, I mean, and every time I look at it, I notice something new or something like there's there's different ways of interpreting this. Like you can interpret this as like, I wish I could be at that reservoir with that person, or she wishes she was in the countryside, like trying to drive around in Oklahoma or something like that.
It also weirdly evokes A Day to Remember for me. They have that theme across all of their albums of like a guy with his back turned in the middle of the album art.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it is about that theme on their album art, because there are some of those albums that I'm not a big fan of really at all. But the idea of the album art being somebody with their back turned to you always catches my eye. There's always something about it where I'm just like, well, what's this about?
Yeah.
And then especially with something like this where there's layers there in the imagery, the way that Alex Henry, one of the guitarists for Basement and also a pretty great visual artist, did a lot of work for Run for Cover, and does a lot of the work for Basement and some other bands, and his other band Fiddlehead, which we should get around to. We should find a way to fit Fiddlehead into this podcast, because that band is so good.
For sure.
Yeah, it's really, really masterfully done, and it's not like, it's one of those things where you can look at it and you can kind of get the point. It's just like, oh, this is very wintry. That person is wearing a pea coat and like a palm beanie and stuff. And yeah, the more you look at it, the more you start to catch all these different things, the little vines that come up the concrete. I love it. I love it so much.
Yeah, I mean, I'm also completely biased towards this record. I mean, it's one of my favorite album arts of all time. I think it's a really good one.
As it very well should be.
I mean, it says a lot, but it doesn't quite say it. You know what I mean? It shows a lot, but it doesn't say it. Let's move on to Earl Grey. And this is...
definitively English song.
Yes. This is the most Tumblr post to ever tumble, just with the lyrics and also the overall feel of it at the beginning. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's got that. This was kind of the Tumblr song, I would say, of this album.
And for those of you listening at home, Tumblr was a huge part of why this band got so big. I think it,
for sure,
arguably why this band got so big. I mean, they were that kind of it band. I mean, there were a lot of people posting those nature pictures with like Basement lyrics on it, and like their room pics with like the different banners and like Basement vinyl and that kind of thing. Like that was a big thing back in Tumblr back in the day. It's amazing how things change in like 7 years.
Yeah.
Because now Tumblr's not the thing anymore.
No, Tumblr died a pretty quick death.
Again,
but
not a word salad here. It is very quick, very much to the point.
It's very sad. Another breakup song. Looked up at your window, pretended I could see you, but you don't live there anymore. Mind wanders and I get lost in thoughts of you. I sleep to escape, as drinking kills you anyway. So why when I wake does my head still ache? But he does a really good job of singing that so that it could sound like, so why when I wake does my heart still ache?
Like the way that you said it just now, I was like, God, I had to got the skeevies from that. That's like kind of the genius of this album, is that when you just look at the lyrics on paper, there's so much of it where it's just kind of like if you hadn't listened to this album at all and you just looked at these lyrics, you'd be like, no, this ain't for me. To be honest with you, I haven't looked up the lyrics to this record like ever up until like today when I was doing like research, and I was like, wow, they don't write a lot, and also it's very short. Like
it's very short, it's very to the point, it's very, like I said, it could very easily have just been high school poetry if it weren't for the delivery and the instrumentation here.
Which, I mean, I guess that really shows the musicianship of this band as a whole.
Exactly.
This could easily be a hardcore song. Just
drop
it down to D, turn up the drum mix, this could literally be a hardcore song.
Yeah, it could also very easily, like, if they picked up the pace a little bit and played with more like kind of jazz chords and stuff. This like Earl Grey also reeks of like, oh yeah, this is a band writing title fight songs,
which I'm not mad at. Like that.
Oh, I'm not mad at it at all. Like this was, I mean, that was the thing when this album came out. It was like, oh, the UK got title fight.
Yeah.
Like somebody heard The Last Thing You Forget and they were like, what if we made an album out of that? But we named a song after tea because we're British. We speak the Queen's English, so we got to find some sort of reference to fill in here between our Pennsylvania, our Scranton, Pennsylvania riffs, or Kingston, Pennsylvania. Damn, I'm not on my game.
I thought it was Wilkes-Barre, Kingston, Scranton. It's like all the same area.
Wilkes-Barre, or are they?
I think they.
Why do they think Title Fight was Kingston?
I think it's because you have a sweatshirt that says Kingston. I mean, they go back and forth. It feels like.
I know, like the murals and stuff were in Wilkes-Barre because that was where like the scene was at the time for them. But that's a different band. So
yeah, we'll get to that when it's a Title Fight episode.
Ellipses.
I think this is a great it's like a palate cleanser for this. You just had a very intense emotional breakup song, and it's kind of a shake up and like a different approach to it.
I'm such a sucker. I'm shocked that this is on this album and not on an album that this band did with like Will Yip or something like that, because that's like Will Yip is notorious for having songs like this on albums he produces. Where there's just true. Like a mid to late record, like kind of repetitive little instrumental track kind of deal. But the thing is, it always works. I'm always a sucker for it.
And this works too,
and I think,
even without Will Yip. And it's kind of marks the halfway point and kind of makes that clear mark.
I think I fall for it every time because it's kind of like I was like really starting to like dive deep on like hardcore and alternative bands at the same time that I was getting really, really into post-rock bands like Explosions in the Sky, Mogwai, stuff like that. And like starting to really understand and appreciate like movie soundtracks and stuff.
I'm sorry. I have to interrupt you, but we have breaking news. Dart.
Oh no.
.lord is live on Tumblr, right? Or not Tumblr, Twitch right now.
Oh no. Oh no. This night just got blown wide open.
Well.
Oh no.
All right.
This might have just derailed.
Nope. We have to get back. No, we got to get back on top.
We got to focus. We got to do the right thing.
Focus, Stan and AJ. Focus.
Damn it. God damn it. Just slap each other in the face a couple of times. We got this. Josh, we're coming for you. We're coming for you, buddy.
Anyways. For those that don't know at home, our friend Josh loves to stream on Twitch sometimes. And for a while, he just hasn't been. The last time he did it was like 4 years ago or something like that. And I got the notification in my email that said the silence is over.
Oh no. That's too good. So,
all right.
Anyway.
Anyways, that's Eclipses. I think it's a great kind of halfway point in the album that kind of breaks it apart, and you get right back into the high energy with every single word.
Yeah. It picks back up. This is not one of the high points of the record for me.
I would agree with that.
This is one of the songs it is kind of retreading what's already been said, you know.
Kind of deflates at the very end of it, to me at least. Like it kind of like you fill up this balloon full of air and they just let it out and it kind of just goes.
Yeah,
you know,
it just kind of sighs. No, I will wait for you, just like I said I would. Every single word that's deeper than the first. It's another perfect example of like, man, you just read it on paper, you're not gonna get it. It's still good, I promise you. Not quite there.
Yes.
I'll also please save me from myself. Like that lyric was played out in 1980.
Yeah, it's been played out.
Yeah, not exactly a high point, but still it doesn't totally bog down the record. It's just it doesn't pick up where the band left off by the time Ellipses came around.
Yeah, for sure. And then it kind of goes back with Yoke,
which is the other song that is tied for my favorite on the record.
I mean, one of my favorite moments as a live music fan was like Andrew Fisher coming back out like during the encore and playing the acoustic version of this.
The acoustic version of this was my first ever experience to this band. I forget if it was like Day Trotter or one of those like YouTube channels where they have artists come on and do like acoustic renditions of things. But I remember hearing the acoustic version of Yoke way before. I think he plays it in like a stairwell or something.
Yeah.
In the back of a venue. And that was my first time ever hearing Basement. And I remember hearing this song and being like, oh, this is a very well constructed song.
Yeah. It kind of hints and nudges at the beginning, but it just explodes into massive guitars. Like it's like kind of quiet, kind of like it's like, should we get into it or not? I don't know. All right, let's just do it.
If they switched every single word in Yoke in the track listing, that I think would have made every single word a little bit more okay, because Yoke feels like it should follow Ellipses.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think the lyrics like is my mother happy, is my father proud, hide me in my room, but forget me. Like I think every very simple lyrics.
It's about Harry Potter.
Yes.
It's about Harry Potter. Hide me in my room.
Oh my God. Like I think everyone at some point has kind of related to that kind of moment, like of feeling lost, not knowing what to do. And like, are they like is my mother actually happy what I'm doing? Is my dad actually proud of it?
This is me against the world. Yes, it is, my son.
Yeah, which again, very played out, very simple, not anything that's like groundbreaking or anything that's going to like.
But the execution.
It's the execution.
Execution is so good.
That's the thing about this record. It's all about the execution of what is there. Like you could have the most intricate lyrics in the world, most intricate like guitar riff in the world, but like if you can't put the other pieces around it to build it up, it's not going to be a good song.
Yeah, that's all I can say. It's all about the execution. This I love it.
All right.
Always, it's so much harder for me to talk about the songs that I like genuinely love.
Yeah. I mean, you were able to rip apart Taking Back Sunday, for example, like no problem.
Yeah, but that's also because those versions of those songs are not my favorite.
I mean, that's fair.
Like playing those songs or watching those songs be played live is like, don't bother trying to explain Angel. Reading it on the paper or hearing it on the original recording is like, I don't know.
Would you?
But then actually watching it live and stuff is just like, yes.
Now, would you say, I'm just posing this question to you, since we did do Taking Back Sunday a long time ago. You can listen to that on Spotify and other podcast networks.
It's in your podcast players, kids.
Yes. But is the way that Adam Lazzara, like with the whiny, like kind of high-pitched vocals, does that execution of that make it more cringy than like Andrew Fisher, for example, with like kind of shouty yelling vocals? Like which do you prefer?
The irony of you asking which do you prefer after talking about Taking Back Sunday.
I mean, like...
My finger on the trigger or me face down across your no
Because like is
yeah,
his whiny vocals like the reason why you think it's more cringy?
that's probably part of it. Because I mean, Taking Back Sunday, people talk about, especially earlier Taking Back Sunday, they talk about, you know, how they owe so much to the Long Island hardcore scene.
Right.
But like that doesn't necessarily fly for me. Like that, every part of that feels like super overdramatic, and like I think we talked about it on that episode too. Like that informed bands like My Chemical Romance, where there's almost like a Broadway quality to it. There's this like over the top like showmanship of the whole thing.
Yeah.
That like adds to the melodrama of it. Whereas this, like we keep talking about the execution, and I think that's part of what I mean is that like it would be really easy for these songs to have become, you know, Hide Me in My Room.
Like if he
Just that one line sung by Adam Lazzara
right.
would have been so much cringier than the way that it's delivered on this album. The way that it's delivered here is just like
It's kind of rough.
there's
It's kind of like
Yeah,
emotive.
all of the vocals on this are pretty rough, and like some of that is due to engineering, and some of that is kind of like I talked about earlier. Like I don't think Andrew necessarily like had any kind of professional training or anything, but the way it's delivered here is so much more kind of to the point, and he's emoting, but he's trying to convey like there feels like there's an honesty to it. He's trying to convey like an actual emotion through a song,
right.
as opposed to like playing up the emotion. He's singing some of these lyrics that you could sit back and be like, oh my God, like get over yourself, man. But he's singing them in a way where it's just like, this is how I'm trying to convey this to you, as opposed to a kind of like Adam Lazzara is a perfect example of it, where it's just like Adam Lazzara would sing that in a, hey, look at me, look at how damaged I am kind of way, especially in that at that point in Taking Back Sunday's career. I think that's an issue that Adam has kind of overcome. But yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, comparing Take It Back Sunday and Basement, it's kind of like it's comparing apples and mangoes. I mean, they're not related to one another at all. I mean, they both play in the alternative music scene, but like they're not obviously like it's not one's like a definitive pop punk band that like Tell This to Your Friends is a pop punk record. This is more emo alternative melodic hardcore type of like an album.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Let's move on to Grayscale, which I mean,
can you tell that this band is influenced by hardcore? Three stanzas.
Yep,
in and out.
3 stanzas in and out. It's one of the shortest songs on this record. They say what they have to say. They get out there. Boom.
In, out, done. Which is, I don't think this is one of the highlights of the record, but it's definitely like, it is one of those things where you just kind of have to respect the craft of just like, yep, you had the song idea, you put the song idea together, you didn't overthink it, here it is. Pictures painted by your hand will never look the same again. Go.
And I mean, I think it was very easy for them to just end the song after like the 1.5 minute mark, because like for the last like less than a minute, no lyrics, it was kind of just all instrumental. But I think that was kind of nice.
Mm-hmm. I love it. It's just another, this is one of the again, it's not one of my favorites, but I think I do think that Grayscale is like a staple song on this album.
Yeah. And I mean, how many bands after that were called Grayscale, for example?
I know.
Like how many? We need a running count.
Too many.
There are way too many. Like I could probably look on Spotify right now and there's at least 5 of them.
Was this one? No, it was one of the other songs that got sampled by like Wicca Phase and.
Was it actually?
There's a song on this album or it might not be Wicca Phase. What's the song? I forget what the song is, but like there are now like SoundCloud rappers that sample Basement, which is it's so cool.
There are
I can't even deny it.
I was like browsing through whatever, and there's now like SoundCloud rappers sampling and using like hardcore riffs. Like
oh, dude. Well, I mean, trap music is hardcore breakdowns.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's like triplet, like those hi-hat triplets and stuff like that, and like the kick patterns and stuff that they use on like all of this, especially in the past like 6 years of hip hop. Like, and I'm sure if you traced it back to before hardcore, there's like
There's a bunch,
I don't want to
yeah.
get into a whole. I don't want to get into a whole, analysis of where everything came from or whatever. But
right.
like,
Probably came from
you,
jazz.
you listen to any, you literally listen to any modern hip hop song. Listen to any track from like Migos, Post Malone. There were a couple of songs off of Kanye's last album where it was just like the beat is literally just a breakdown, that's not a dig. That's sick.
Yeah.
I love the commingling and everything there, but like everything's borrowing from everything else now, and it's wild.
Yeah, I mean, there's like a SoundCloud rapper that came out and he was like, "Yeah, my biggest influence is actually Title Fight," which that is.
Yeah, and was it Lil Uzi Vert or somebody who was just like, yeah, like my biggest influence is Paramore.
Yeah,
It's like, all right, dude, sick.
I think that's really that's really cool. I mean, and
I don't necessarily hear it, but go off, King.
I think we're gonna hear more. If I had any prediction for this upcoming decade, it's going to be more albums that sound like Machine Gun Kelly and like those rappers mixing with like pop punk and hardcore and like that kind of thing. Like that's the new thing.
Yeah, the crossover. I'm surprised that we haven't heard like a top 40 hip hop song that samples like I Write Sins Not Tragedies or something.
I mean, it's gonna happen
Like,
soon.
there's so many of those things that are just ripe for the picking right now.
All right.
But anyway,
All right. We're going to move on to March, which low key, I think this is one of the most overlooked songs in this band's discography, in my opinion.
it is absolutely one of the most overlooked songs, and that's a shame because this is a great song.
This is, I'd say it's my second favorite song on this record.
It's a great way to close out a record, and it's also a great, like, this should be on everybody's breakup playlist
It's a
because I know for a fact it's on mine.
It's a great breakup song. I think it's not cliche. It's sad, but it hits in so many ways. I love the little do 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 like at the beginning.
Yep.
Like I love
Yep.
I love I love how the drums are mixed on this song. I don't know about the rest of the album, it doesn't really come through, but this song particularly, like I love.
I think that's one of the most underrated parts of this band is he's never super, super flashy. I wouldn't call him like a technically great drummer.
No.
But Crab from Basement is one of the most musical drummers that I think I've encountered. He's just like it's so easy. I feel like people say it all the time when they're trying to like compliment drums. They're like, wow, the drums really emote. But like, he does. He sits in these pockets and he has these little fills that 9 times out of 10 kind of make the song, and he just knows what he's doing. I love it.
No, he does, and it's not forced. If he has a part in it, he makes the most of it, and it sounds great. It's a huge way of ending this record. 2 verses, 2 choruses. Like, it's very simple, gets right to the point. I love the stanza that's stay up late and watch TV. We never watched it really. We made plans I thought we'd keep. The date's still in my diary.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. That the last half of that just gets me. That one cuts deep every time. We made plans I thought we'd keep.
Right. Like
I've been there. I've gone through that.
I love
I've had some great romances. Just ended.
I love the first part that's just stay up late, watch TV. We never watched it really. Like, I mean, I feel like that's everyone. Like we just,
and that's
background noise.
A great example.
It's just background noise.
It's such a great, and we've talked about this theme a couple of times on this podcast. The idea in emo alternative punk music where you can talk about bedroom things, but you can't talk about bedroom things. Like, it could very easily be implied when you say we never really watched it really. It could very easily be implied that there's some hanky-panky going on.
Get your mind out of the
you
gutter.
Would never say it. That's not my interpretation of
That's
it,
not
but it
mine
could
either.
easily be somebody's interpretation of it. And it's like, that is a common theme for all of these bands where it's just, you talk about like You only ever walk up to like within a foot of the line. You never cross the line. It's always like, we stayed up late and watched TV. We never really watched it really.
Yeah, you're
Leave that to your imagination. If only I could get like, We're in Your Bedroom. Even like the most overtly sexual songs, like Here in Your Bedroom by Goldfinger. Like you can talk about being in the bedroom, but you can't just say like, and also sex.
it's stark contrast from like a band like Buck Cherry, for example. Like they're like one of those bands that comes to mind. They have Nickelback, Motley Crue. The list goes on and on for those bands.
Guns N' Roses, yeah. I mean, you could list a million of them.
I mean, Guns N' Roses, for fuck's sakes, has during the recording session of Appetite for Destruction.
Oh, no. I hate it. I hate this story so much.
Apparently,
it's just the further away you get from it, the worse it ages.
They recorded Axl Rose and this girl having an intimate moment.
It's just like every single time that story gets brought up, I hear it like once or twice a year, and every time it just gets worse.
I mean, Slash's whole book is full of like all those stories. Ever read that book?
I read that book. Slash's book was tame compared to Steven Tyler's, though. Steven Tyler's was like, you have to respect the Steven Tyler biography, though, because it's written in his voice, which is just like, yeah, you did. Like,
hey, one time I did coke in the bathroom of a Jordan's Furniture and then bought like all the...
Like there's still like granules of cocaine like peppered over the top of your brain, dude.
Yeah, that dude is fried.
Oh man.
But this song kind of encapsulates everything that the whole album was, and kind of hints at the next record, like it's going to be more of like that sound or whatever, which is kind of nice. It's a good ending.
Exactly.
All right.
So that begs the question. We've reached the end of the album. It turns 10 in July, almost 10 years after this album came out. Does it hold up?
I didn't think we were doing that. I mean, of course it holds. I mean, it's always going to hold up for me. Like it could be 50 years old. It could be 50 years later from now, and I'll still say it holds up, to me at least. There's a lot of sentimental value with this record for me. And I mean, all cringy lyrics aside, I think it will always hold up.
I think part of this is colored by, bias on both our ends.
Yes.
But I do think, as much as I can like remove myself from that and be objective about it, like this is a fantastic blueprint for how do you put together a debut album if you're in like a punk leaning, hardcore influenced, grungy kind of pop songwriting band. Like how do you introduce yourself to the world of like, I come from the world of aggressive music, but I want to write stuff that's melodic. This is, I would show somebody this album before I showed them Shed by Title Fight, even though I think Shed is actually a superior record.
I mean, I'm biased. I'm going to say this record is more substantial than Shed, but that's just me, in my opinion.
But I think the answer for me is absolutely it holds up.
Cool. So that closes that out. Let's do recommendations.
Let us do recommendations. Do you have one ready?
Oh yeah, I do. So the place where I got Wish I Could Stay Here was at Wanna Hear It Records. And this is a brand new record shop. Opened up in Watertown. It's 7 Main Street. Short bus ride away from Boston. I live right in Brighton, so, a half hour away, a couple miles. And
you hipster shit.
What?
I live in Brighton. It's not the rat city, but it's close enough that I can get to all the good Alston bars.
Anyways, they specialize in punk, hardcore, metal, indie rock, brand new place. It opened, I think, late last year, and went in there. I got this record came out last year. This band called Nudie Mag. I bought Milk on vinyl, their debut record, which is a fantastic record that I I suggested one of the previous podcast episodes before,
Indeed.
and I got Wish I Could Stay Here, and I got Title Fights. What's that first record that they have?
The Last Thing You Forget,
Yeah, The Last Thing That You Forget. I bought all of those.
which is one of the all-time great EPs from any band ever.
I like Spring Songs a little bit more, just because it's more refined, but we're not going to get into that right here.
That would be, that could very easily be the next episode. Because both of those are pretty short EPs. We could very easily compare and contrast Last Thing You Forget and Spring Songs. And I think, despite what I just said, I think you and I are going to be very much on the same page for that. But I'd be interested to hear that.
Okay. Well, if you want to hear that, guys, you can hit us up on social media. But want to hear records, check it out if you're in the market for punk, hardcore, metal, and support local businesses during this trying time.
A new record store in this economy?
Anyways,
The joke came to me and I regret saying it. But in a much more real sense, I don't regret saying it at all.
so which is it then?
I don't. God bless independent record stores, honestly.
Yeah,
Everybody
true.
should be buying vinyl.
Sounds great. Anyways, what is your suggestion? You kind of alluded to it a little bit earlier.
My suggestion this week, to absolutely nobody's surprise, is the new Manchester Orchestra song called Bedhead.
Shocking.
They have announced, yeah, I know, right? The band has announced a new album. It's called The Million Masks of God. Yeah, they just put out a new song. It's called Bedhead. It goes, it's just every time I listen to Manchester Orchestra and think I have them like pegged, they find a way to just kind of like expand or take a quick little left turn from their previous sound and put out something that's like pushing the envelope of what they can do. And it's really kind of hard to describe, but they're doing this, like this song in particular that they just put out is like electronics heavy.
Huh.
Which isn't even necessarily like new for this band, but the way that they're utilizing, like there's a little bit of like a choppiness to some of the sampling that they're using and like some of the static sounds and electronic-y kind of sound that is like it fits them really well. Andy Hull has the voice of an angel, and I'm still convinced that if I let my beard grow out as long as his and stop cutting my own hair, I might stand a chance of sounding like him one day.
I mean, it's worth a shot.
Because apparently I'm still a 12-year-old at heart. But and that's the kind of logic I use in my life, I guess. Yeah, really great song. I'm anticipating another just fantastic album from them, and they announced that as part of the pre-orders, they are doing a vinyl edition where the vinyl is going to be housed in a hardcover book with pictures from the studio sessions and lyric sheets and all the good stuff that comes with that. And I am a sucker for that format of vinyl. Touche Amore does it all the time. I have one for Manchester Orchestra that's like that. I feel like I have a couple of other ones. I adore when bands do that, and that's the only time that it's worth spending more than $50 for any particular vinyl record for me. Because I like, as much as I love vinyl for like the tangibility and picking it up and taking out the lyric sheet and like gatefold vinyl is awesome and stuff, I will open those books over and over and over and over and over again.
That
just
checks
to
out.
look at the layouts and stuff like that. It is the hardcover editions of albums, when you can find those, are like the best investment in vinyl. I love them.
True.
And
Yeah.
I will be getting one.
I should probably do that too.
They're few and far between. Not everybody does them, but when you do, like when you pop it on the record player, you know, obviously they're always like special edition, limited edition kind of deals. You pop it on the record player, you listen to the album, but you have like a literal hardcover book in your hands that you can flip through to read the lyrics and see all the visuals that they put together for the album and stuff. And that is my favorite kind of format for music.
For sure. I think that pretty much wraps up today. Again, we're going to post Jordan's GoFundMe, so definitely donate to that. She's our friend who's in need of some assistance and help. So definitely any kind of bit that you have, extra cash, they would appreciate it. And it would go towards her medical or just living expenses for the next couple months.
Yeah, help our friend, land on her feet from this. I can't imagine, everybody's life has been kind of thrown into turmoil over the course of the past year, but going through what she's gone through over the past week and waking up to not only the same shit that we're dealing with every day, but also having, your entire personal life just kind of like pulled out from under you.
Right.
Like that's going to be a tough pill to swallow, and she's going to need some help to, keep her on her own 2 feet. So anything that anybody can do would be much appreciated, because I know for a fact she'd do it for any of us.
Yeah, she would. One of the nicest people in the world. So donate, do it.
Do it. We're peer pressuring you now, just blatantly.
Yes, we are.
Do it.
Check us out on social media, our Instagram and Twitter, Packy Run Pod. We'll have the links for that. And check us out on all your podcast providers and listen to us.
Keep up the good work of breathing, I guess, guys.
Yeah.
You're doing a great job.
Listen, tell us about your, to your friends. And I have nothing else to say. So I'll talk to you next week. Take it easy.
Goodbye.